Welcome to Truth Bombs Podcast. Did she really say that? You're joined by your co-host, me, Chef Katrina, and
Heidi Muma.
And so we're here today to open up and have a candid conversation about Truth Bomb Academy. So we're going to open up Truth Bomb Academy. That's really kind of what we're doing. And we're going to share with you a little bit in this episode, kind of the evolution of what transpired to create and really build Truth Bomb Academy and the ups and downs we've had over the year, really in designing this. So this is, was an idea that we had. It's so interesting when you look at when you start a business and you want to change the conversation, how easy you think it's going to be. At least I thought it was going to be easier. And then really bumping up the against. How do you take something like female entrepreneurship and how it's different and everybody agrees upon this? Like, there's not a male or female that I've talked to in the business world that doesn't agree with the statement that women build businesses different than men, right? And in saying that, the question I had that came up for me is how? Mm-hmm. How do we do it differently? And if there is no one to model a female business building a female business in her energy and her cycle, honoring her seasons in life and what she deals with, what does that really look like? What does that effectively look like in the world, right? And that kind of became the background for Truth Bomb Academy is how do you take an intangible of what we do as women and how we build business and bring it into a training structure to give more women permission to rest, to sync with their hormonal cycle, to really build a business that feeds our energy and doesn't suck it from us while we're taking care of our family, our children, being a caregiver, taking care of ourselves, like just the natural tendency we have as women. And that's been kind of like the background of what we're creating with Truth Bomb Academy. Just getting that started. Because you've been in business, Heidi, right? You've done and you've raised your children and you've had businesses alongside of that. What do you feel like has been the stopping block from potentially reaching full potential with some of the businesses you've started or some of the setbacks that you experienced?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, so often it's like, as I saw these, I hear these questions from women and I see women, it's like who have these fantastic ideas, or they feel like they have a lot of fantastic ideas, but not enough hours in the day to get it all done. And I think I know for myself personally, it's like I have an idea and it's like, and you want to go full force with it, but you have things that come up like you have to take your kids to all their places like dance and soccer and all the things, and you still have to make dinner and you still have to keep the house in order and all of the things. And it's like, how do you then have the time or the energy to then focus on the business ideas that you have to bring it to fruition? And it's like, and sometimes like women get the nomer is like of being a superwoman. It's like, watch her do it all. And it's like, and she does do it all. And she does get the business going and she does, but then at the end of the day, she's exhausted. She has no time and and I think oftentimes it's like something, we often feel like something gets sacrificed.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's ourselves. We sacrifice ourselves for the sake of doing it all, for the sake of what our children need, for the sake of what our spouse or partner needs, for the sake of what the business needs,
and our customers need,
and the product
we're producing, and
it all. And it's like, but the thing is, if you don't take time to re-energize, you don't take time to be able to just sit and actually enjoy your kids in their activities, instead of like while they're doing their activities you're scrambling to do something else while they're occupied doing something. And I think we miss out on things like that when that's where our energy is going. Whereas I think it's like what we're learning and so much about the female cycle and the female what weeks during the month that we actually have more of those energies to donate or to not donate, to focus on different aspects. And I think that's key. And it's like when you're, instead of spinning your wheels doing everything every week and every day, it's actually looking at your month as a whole is really transforming the way we can build and look at things, and even how you feed your body differently, or even what aspects of your business you can focus on and do better at certain times of the month, so that it doesn't feel like it's forced. It feels like it's more natural. And I think it's like when we understand our bodies more, and we understand where our energy levels at different times during the month, we're actually able to get it done in a more cohesive manner. And it's not so wearing on your body, it's not so wearing on your energy, because you're using the energy effectively. And the mantra of doing it all is actually what's killing us. We don't have to do it all. We actually can rely on other people more than and it's like, and I think for me, when people would say, oh, let me help you do this, but I felt like I couldn't accept that help. I had to do it all.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I think when we actually embrace the help that people offer, it's not only is it blessing you because it's going to give you a little bit more of that flexible time, but it's also a blessing to them. And understanding that is key to being able to accept that help and not feel like you're not capable. Yeah. And I think that's a fear of women, is that they feel like they're not capable, and so that's why people offer help. No, it's not. And it's like, and I think it's like, for me, I think it's that mantra that I have to do it all, or I have to appear like I'm doing it all.
The superwoman
complex, and that superwoman complex is not serving you.
It's the perfection, right? Because we don't want to see that we're failing as a mom. We don't want to be seen that we're struggling in business. We don't want anyone to see the struggle.
Yeah.
And to be honest, part of this conversation we're having with you today in this episode for Did She Really Say That is that it's been a struggle building Truth Mom Academy.
It has been.
This hasn't been easy.
It's not easy. Whenever it's like going against the status quo, going against what we've always been told about the grind, about what you have to sacrifice the first couple of years in business to actually make your business successful. Well, it's like, you can't have a successful business if you're burning out, you're overwhelmed, and then you decide to just like close the curtains because it's not physically possible. Yeah. And so it's like, how do you create that successful business? How do you do it within that's, and it's like, and I think it's like, I kind of look back at it's like, at how profit, like we teach and we talk about profit first a lot here inside Truth Mom Academy. It's something that, it's a system that we're learning. It's a system that we have really fallen in love with. And the thing about profit first is that it works with your natural way of dealing with money. And it's like how you will, if you put everything in one pot, if you put everything in one bank account or one bucket, you tend to use it all. Yeah. It's kind of like, it's anything. It's like, if you have it, you use it. You think about the space in your home. I was thinking about this. It's like if you can contain your stuff in like a 2-bedroom apartment if you have to. But if you have a 3rd bedroom, you gain a 3rd bedroom, you're going to use it. You're going to fill it. Yep. You're going to fill it. If you gain another closet, you're going to fill it. And it's the same thing with your finances. If it's all there, you're going to use it and you're going to spend it. But it's like, so profit first works with your natural way of being. And it's like, and if we look at building a business with our natural way of being, we actually have to understand what that natural way of being is, because we fought against it for so long, for so many years in history. Women have fought against what their body is naturally telling them they need, what they need, and what's going to help them to actually be healthy so that they can do it all.
Yeah, and you said something that's like, we do have this tendency to always want to be on performance. And one of the things we looked at when we were building the Truth Mom Academy, definitely one thing the first thing I looked at was time management has to change for women. Mm-hmm. That really was kind of like the kickstart, is like, what is it? And I've been searching for a lot of information. And I know it was, as we were building out, first off, it was Truth Bomb Marketing. We started this company as Truth Bomb Marketing. And then we recognized that we didn't want to just focus on marketing, because that just fell into the same trap, for me at least, right? With my background in marketing, it fell into the same trap that we've always done. It was nothing, it wasn't changing the conversation. It was reiterating, what are you doing daily? What are you constantly making? And it was exhausting to me to teach that, because I know how it felt to run a business that way, to be, on demand all the time for marketing, to be on response all the time for everything. And I get that we're in a time period right now where everybody feels like they have to have instant gratification. Everybody needs to respond instantly. But when you look at how women react, right, and to a lot of things, we do need time away. Mm-hmm. I think what's interesting is that, back in the 1960s, 1970s, and as things changed for us as women in terms of like equality, being able to get into the workplace, really pushing in, and there's a lot of industries and such that we haven't stepped into yet, because it goes back to what you said, we don't think we're capable. Mm-hmm. We don't believe that we're capable of running multiple businesses or having that, because there's really no one to model how to have it all. And a lot of the times we hear about women getting, leaving jobs because they get pregnant and they have a family, which is super important to them. But we also know that the infrastructure of humanity is built on women that do have children and choose to be home. They're taking care of the workforce, because they're really raising children to be part of that. Mm-hmm. Right? And so it was looking at a lot of different things around time, because for us as women, we do go through different seasons. We go through, before childbirth, before our period season, we have our menstrual season where we are, able to have and produce and create children through various means. And then we have after our menstrual season, right? Right. Where we are, looking at in our time and our energy flexes. But really the business world doesn't take into account what we experience emotionally, hormonally as women. We get told, oh, we're too emotional, we're bitchy, we're hormonal, we're everything else. Like everything that makes us women has actually been turned against us in a lot of ways, right? So when we were putting together the Truth Mom Academy, we went through so many iterations of this. And it's so funny when you sit down and you start talking to people that are helping startup companies. They say that small businesses on average, startup businesses like Truth Mom Academy, will go through, up to maybe 9 iterations, different pivots, things that will change inside of it. And when we were putting together the academy, first off, we knew that we needed to get women to slow down. Mm-hmm. So our first step to slowing women down was to get them to breathe. Yeah. Right. And, our friend and business partner, Karen, at the time was like, let's get people breathing. And that was important to me. Yeah. Because I really do believe that women are on this fight or flight response more so now than any other time. Like, we really feel like we have to perform. And if we don't, if we even take that moment to rest, something's wrong.
Something's going to fall apart.
Something's going to fall apart. One of the wheels is going to fall off what you're building, right? So I knew that was important, was to get women breathing again, right? And I know when working with Karen, we worked through like some different things, like some mindfulness activities. And I started to see how these mindful activities that we were creating would be beneficial in the development of business. Yeah. Right? And I said, okay, how do we blend this together? How do we take what seemingly appears to be meditation, breathing, mindfulness, which feels like that woo-woo, and I really don't like that term, but I'm throwing it out there because that's what it keeps getting called. But like, how do we get women to rest and reset yet again and slow them back down? Because what's interesting, when you look at the yin and yang, women are the flow. Mm-hmm. So sometimes that flow slows down, sometimes it speeds up. And the yang, the male aspect of it, is the doing of it. That's the speeding up. That's getting what needs to get done inside that current. Right. But I think for most of us as women, including myself, this is where I really struggled, is that I couldn't see myself continuing to build a business that was literally taking up all my time, taking up all my space, didn't really give me time to step away from the computer, because honestly I didn't know what boundaries to put, because the guys that I'm listening from seem to have no boundaries. Like, they just have this 9 to 5 period. But at the same time, as a female, I feel like I want to over deliver. And for me, over delivering is taking care of people, which means if my customer needed something, I wanted to be available for that.
Right.
But being available to take care of somebody else was what was burning me out, because I wasn't taking time and setting that boundary of like, okay, yes, I want to help you, but let's make sure we're doing that within a time period or time of the day that I can be at my best to help you with this. Right? And so I just remember coming off of calls with my mentors in different time periods of my life and just being like, yeah, how the flock am I going to get that done? Right? And then feeling like when I was working for different companies, consulting with them, trying to pick up the slack because I knew it wasn't in their wheelhouse to do. And so trying to be more community oriented and being there also put a bigger demand on my time, which means I wasn't getting out and I wasn't living the life that I wanted. I was living a life that literally kept me from doing what I loved.
Right.
Right? Were there moments where I was finding myself? Absolutely. But the thing with the academy, so we started off with Truth Bomb Marketing. We were teaching breathing. We were teaching some mindfulness, and we're like, okay, we actually have to have something concrete, like a system to take women through for business, right? So we asked a couple of our mentors, the very successful men in business, and the way they were building it, they're like, yeah, we have this business training we do. We teach businesses, entrepreneurs, how to scale, how to grow, how to market, that kind of thing, right? And I was like, all right, show me that. And I remember getting my hands on this and even showing it to you and showing it to Karen at the time. And it was just like, what the hell are you asking us to put in here? Right? Because there's a lot that goes into planning a business. And it can seem like a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
It can seem like it's daunting. Like, maybe I shouldn't be building a business.
Yes.
And it's languaged in such a way that makes me feel stupid.
Yep. And then so more often than not, I've seen people just close it up and be like, you know what? I have an idea. I'm just going to throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and not have a plan.
Yeah.
Because the way that the plan was laid out was more convoluted than we knew what to do with.
It was so rigid. It was so action and productivity based. It never had room really to breathe, because they don't incorporate that when you're designing a business. Like, every business structure, every marketing mentorship program, every workshop was so focused on overproductivity. It's like, you've got to be productive. And then you went home and you were like, this is my life. How do I incorporate what I just did in solitude for 3 days with a group of other entrepreneurs? I don't have that same support system around me. Right.
So the thing is, it's like, how do you take what you learn then, and if you go to business conferences, there's a plethora of really good, solid information, but it's taking that information and actually implementing it in a way that is cohesive with your life.
Yep.
It's cohesive with being a woman. It's taken all that business information that is good, solid business information, but changing the way women go about it in a way that is more natural for our cycles, for our lifestyle, and it's like, and I think that's where Truth Bomb has been changing the conversation, and it's been hard because everybody is so used to being like, you have to be consistent in your marketing or you're not going to get anywhere. You have to be constantly, every moment of the day you're working on your business or your business is going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's the conversation that we're working on changing. And it's not been easy.
No, because it's even because I said to myself, it's like, where are my female business role models? Where are the women that are actively showing me how to take time off in my month? That are actively showing me that I can build a business this way. And they're few and far between, if none at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there are a lot of very successful women. Like, I could post this and talk about this on Facebook, and I will get pushback from women that have successfully built 7- and 8-figure businesses, that have gone on to do great things. And, they say, well, but it works. What the guys teach us works. So why would you want to buck the system? Why would you want to change the conversation? But then I look at statistically what women are dealing with is that 43% of them are burning out from running a business. When you talk to the men in the corporate world about women, and just a conversation of just really trying to help women succeed, they're like, how they come into their career, this gung-ho need to prove themselves. And then once they get there, they don't know what to do, because how they got there, it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
Because they're not in sync with it. They're playing into the man's world, which is what we know. So how do you shift the conversation from that? How do you implement a woman's intuition and cycle into this seemingly, dominant world? It's like, I can't be a woman in this man's world because it doesn't fit. And that's really where I said that's where I was like, no, we can show you how it does fit. We can show you how to still do what you need to do, still be on your speaking engagement, still run a business that's brick and mortar, still do that, but still honor who you are as a woman.
Right.
And I think that's where it's been challenging, because every piece of information that I get from a guy, I sit with and look at, well, what does it look like being a female? Like, how would I really assimilate this? And then how do I talk about this? And then only that, then how do I teach this? Right? And so, one of the things that I looked at in the early beginnings, before we all came together, was I wanted to be off social media. That was a really big piece for me, because I knew I was going to get censored. You can't talk about being a woman on social media. I mean, you think we can, but there's a lot of things that we internalize or we don't go public with, because it's poked at, it's shamed. It's like, well, what do you know about being a woman? Or, there's just a lot of shame and blame amongst women.
Yeah.
And so we are not our true authentic self in what we're dealing with, because we're afraid to let down. We're afraid to not be strong. We're afraid not to be seen strong. Like, we're the glue that holds a lot of things together.
We are.
Right? So one thing was like, I wanted to create an app, and I wanted it to be downloadable. The first thing is I wanted community to be built there. But I also knew that because of the type of conversation, it needed to be behind locked doors. So when we built out the academy, that it was a payment. You had to pay to get into the academy originally. And so inside the academy, our first thing that we developed was Unlocking My Millions. And Unlocking My Millions was really the redesign of designing a business through a business plan that we'd been given, that's been proven to work for entrepreneurs all over the world.
Yep.
And we said, okay, how do we make this more relatable for how women build business? Where do we need to give women permission to be themselves? Where do we ask them to take breaks? And what was interesting as we started designing the business, Unlocking My Millions, that course, that training, that mentorship, we actually had to add things in that we felt that were missing, that were less analytical and more creative.
Yeah.
And slowing us down. Like, forcing a slowdown.
Yeah.
Right? That was, I think, one of the hardest things, was to sit with all the different elements, because you talk about, what is the business you're building? So first off, we had to look at, okay, you're building a business, but we had to take it back to the woman. How is this business going to fit into your life? How do you want it to look for you? Not being told how it's got to go, but how does this business get set up, this franchise, this coaching, this digital product course? How does this fit into your life? Right?
Right.
What is the end game for this? Are you doing it for a season? Are you looking to sell it? Are you looking to use it to gain recognition? Like, what is it you're looking for? And so we really had to take women back to, like, what has you do this? and how do you see it fitting into your life, not being separate
Right.
and something that's over there, but really like, how do we bring this in? And honestly, it was a lot of trial and error. I think we've gone through 4 iterations now of unlocking my millions in just redesigning. So every woman that comes through this is a contribution, because she has a little bit different perspective of how she'd like to run her business, but she has no model
Right.
to model. And so we have a lot of women that are testing a lot of things. We really are the pioneers of a new way of looking at business for women that could potentially like surpass just male-owned businesses in general through what we create and how we collaborate.
Right.
And leaning on each other more, and stop seeing each other as competition, but really seeing each other as partnerships and support systems. Instead of being pitted against each other, how do we work together to better the overall conversation for us, right?
Yep.
And then we talk about, how do you design your brand? I hear a lot of women say they feel like they're inauthentic in their brand, in their marketing. Well, a lot of that comes back to, what is your business? What are your core values? And then we created activities in here that really gave women something different.
It's been cool.
It's been cool, but it's been frustrating, because on the flip side of this, how do you market and tell women that they need something different when 98% of the conversation out there is not related to women, but is related to business? And then you're starting to shift that conversation, right? And so, I will tell you, this last year of just building out this academy has been financially frustrating. I think that's the one thing. I think, we've been scrappy enough to keep the lights on, but it is exhausting to sit there and know we have something that can change women's lives for the better. And then we're still working on the marketing and the language, because we have to make it first off, we're trying to explain it to ourselves and do it ourselves. And then we're turning around and finding the language to explain what it is that we're creating. And so there's been a lot of ups and downs. What's really come out of this is the women that have gone through the academy, that have gone through Unlocking My Millions and have seen what it's done for their business, are super grateful.
Yeah.
For how we've approached business for them, because now it's starting to make sense. Right?
Yep.
They feel like it's something for the first time that's not what they've always been told. Because that's what's burning them out, is that they're trying to do what they've always been told. And I really do fear for this next generation of female entrepreneurs that are coming in, because they're just mimicking what we've done, what I've done. And I can see this, and I'm like, you're going to burn out. Like, I can literally see the next generation of women entrepreneurs, and I want to be the first to kind of get in there with these women and say, let's look at your business a little differently.
Yeah.
Let's start having a conversation about being female in your business. Let's have a conversation about listening to your body in your business, because I will tell you this, men built businesses by listening to their bodies. They designed and structured businesses based on how they feel. That's why when they talk about, happy hour, and when guys, create meetings and stuff like that, and where they're most productive in their days, is that fits the male cycle. They've cracked the code on how to live life as a male. What we haven't really truly cracked fully open, because it's going to take us hundreds of years, really.
Yeah.
To delve through and design business as a woman. And it's just now starting this conversation. And so for me, I know there's a lot of growth still to happen, but this was one of the reasons why, instead of keeping Truth Mom Academy closed, we decided within the last, 7 to 8 days that it's time to open the doors on Truth Mom Academy.
Yeah.
And really invite women in to be participants, to be part of the conversation. Instead of trying to tell them what they need to do, invite them in and let them experience the shift of what it is to be a female in business. and to have those really open conversations that we can't have on social media due to censorship, that we can't have on social media because of, I'm not running ads, I'm not doing the reach, but I really want to get and connect with women.
Yeah.
Anything else to add around that? Just what your experiences have been in building Truth Bomb this last year?
I mean, it's definitely been a journey, and it's definitely been, I think it's like we know what we're experiencing, and sometimes figuring out the language of how to put that into words has been challenging.
Yeah, let's call it that. Let's call it challenging.
So it's like, I mean, that's part of why we decided to open the doors, because we want women to come in and experience it. I think I've had too many experiences in the corporate world where we're always trying to get ahead of somebody else. And so there's always this competitive feel about it. But where women really shine, and I've experienced this in my own life as a mom, even in business, and I think, it's like I read something the other day about two friends who got together and helped each other in their business, and I think that's what Katrina and I have been doing probably for the last 2 years, that we've been working together, where it's like we came and we talk a lot, and it's like, and basically it's like we're like, how women collaborate like that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, and when you come into Truth Bomb Academy, you download the app and you come into the community and you get to know the women in here, and you get to hear the conversation and experience what's going on. It's like, it's a light bulb is going to go off that you were like, didn't even know was turned off. A light bulb's going to go on that you didn't even know was turned off.
Yeah.
And it's just, so it's like, so really it's like, just the app is free. You just download it and open an account and just come in and see what it's about. And we want to help you to succeed in a business that you actually love, that is like enhances your life and enhances your family's life, doesn't overwhelm or take away from that.
Yeah. And there's so many things that we're working on, and we really, it's been the women that have really moved a lot of the conversation, that has caused a lot of the updates, the integrations, the changes and stuff. And so we've got a lot that we want to do with this academy. Mm-hmm. We've opened it up to bring you in. We still have Unlocking My Millions, which is still paid. Yep. Our goal is to do like a yearly type of mentorship with women to really bring them through the process. We want to be hosting more live events for women to really get this message out. And then ultimately, we're already starting the tithing. We've been setting that money aside for every woman that joins and buys Unlocking My Millions or any of our coaching programs. There's always money that goes back. It's always getting tithed. That's been like part of our core foundation of even building out the financials of this, is to make sure tithing was a big piece of this. Yep. And then from there, we want to be able to eventually provide scholarships for women, and then eventually find and work and find companies that we can co-create, where we can help launch women in their business, provide business loans, show them different ways of access to money, because we keep getting told that we have access to money as women in business. And I really want to find how that becomes available for us. Like, I really want Truth Bomb Academy to be able to say, hey, if you're in here as a member and you're going through any of our coaching programs or systems, is that we actually really do have tools that are supporting women, helping women, changing the lives of women in business, and providing, both financial stability, emotional stability, tools, tips, tricks, things like that, time magic, which is also our time management. Those are the things that we know are making a massive difference. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's as simple now really as going to either your favorite app store for Apple or Google, going in, looking up Truth Bomb Academy, download the app, just create your account like you would anywhere else on a platform, and then just come in and play. Yep. Our goal is to always have a live training going on in there, to be providing values, to be your place to ask questions as a female entrepreneur, and on any areas, whether it's money, finances, business. We're looking to continue to bring in experts that can help with these conversations too, that understand the female cycle, that understand what we're wanting to create and are creating it within their own business, and then showing you how to implement that into your business. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that as more women start to find their flow, and we see other women doing that, and now we have somebody to ask questions to and get that mentorship from. How do I do this with my kids? How do I do this as a caregiver? How do I do this in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond? What does that look like? And then having women in here that can guide that conversation beyond just us, because I know it, like you said, it's going to take the collective.
Yeah.
It's going to take a sisterhood of women in business really shining and showing each other and lifting each other up to build these incredible businesses.
I like it.
So download the app, head over to your favorite store. Link will be here in our descriptions if you're following us on any of our podcasts, in the description down there. And if you're enjoying anything that we've been sharing with you, what do they have to do?
5 stars.
Yeah. We want them to give a 5 stars on our podcast,
5-star
right?
rating. We love 5 stars. Subscribe. Do they subscribe?
They could subscribe.
Follow. Something like that.
Star rating.
Yeah.
Feedback. Share with another female entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That would all be good.
All that's good.
All right.
All that's good.
So we're wrapping up this episode?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Excellent.
All right. So we'll see you guys on the next one. And enjoy your day. We'll hope to see you inside Truth Mom Academy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.